This is a new era of snowball bases. I used everything, from psychological tricks to genius building solutions. That's exactly why we defended this base from over 130 rockets. Right from the start, you can just throw the TC where you actually plan to live. The starter base has at least 3 doors, unlike any typical 2x1 snowball base. For just 5 stone, you're building something that's already defendable, and with just 10,000 stone you get a full shell. What about the psychological part? From the outside it looks like 3 doors and a wall, but inside it has multiple layers of defense. A ramp on top of the shell, shooting floor angles straight into your main in case the HQM wall gets breached. Instant openers that don't require any electricity. An open core with space for 12 boxes, 3 walls to the first floor and cheater peaks, even onto the raid base. All of that for just 1 box of resources. If you ever need to step away for school or work, just build 2 tentacles that take 50 rockets each. This is my fresh take on turning a humble starter into a full snowball base. Now let me show it to you from a player's point of view. At the entrance we are greeted by an airlock made of a double door and a single door frame. There's also a peek spot for campers, and anyone lurking around, it's placed on the side of the entrance. All this space we're standing in is a mini shell. I'll talk about these doors a bit later. We go up to the second floor, and behind this single door you have the exact same mini shell and an anti-dip. It'll help you a lot in the early stages of the wipe. Heading back down to the first floor. This is your starter. Here the fridge replaces the TC and you can store all your unnecessary resources in it. Let's head up to the third floor. Behind this single door you've got a hidden locker stash. Don't put a code lock on it, otherwise people will just pick it out. These doors create an anti-dip. From right here you can control the entrance and the entire shell, and even the main room if raiders have already broken into it. This combat spawn is one of the most important ones. For example, you respawn here, grab a rocket launcher with an HV rocket, and now you can kill any raider, no matter where they're standing. And if you need to seal, I planned for that too. Remember the doors I mentioned inside the shell? You and your teammate, or even solo, drop down through the hatch all the way to the bottom. You need to stand on the turret and then open the door. The turret will kill the raiders, and you can safely seal everything. And to prevent those raiders from running back, just open these shutters. This base has huge potential for online defense, which will let you play wipes as dynamically as possible. By the way, the code for this base is in the video description, and you can load it on the room build servers. And if you want a QE kills, that's private base. But if it's designed by me, the link for base orders is also in the description. When ordering, make sure to mention that you want a private base from Hidden Design, with an upkeep of 11,000 stone and 11,000 metal. The large battery is hidden from raiders as well, and the loot room is massive, a total of 12 boxes. And now, let's head up to the roof. Here you've got a stash for 2 large boxes, perfect for splitting your resources. The roof layout is completely non-standard and packed with features. 4 turrets are positioned so nobody can land on your windmill. And now one of the biggest features. Pixel peaks placed as high as possible. You see the enemy 100%, but they can't see you at all. I flew away from the base, and here's what it looks like. The exact pixel you shoot through completely disappears from view. It only appears when you get extremely close to the base. For raiders or passing loot goblins, this will be a total surprise. You also have downward peaks and mid-range peaks from the roof, letting you control all the space under and around the base. On the ramp side, you've got a fast drop and another protected downward peak. With the fast drop, you can get under the base quickly and safely. Now let me show you what to do if you need to log off and protect your resources. By building these 2 tentacles, your offline defense increases by a whole 50 rockets. Inside each tentacle you have an airlock, just just like at the main entrance of the base. In the next section you get a pixel peek and shotgun traps that will 100% kill raiders if they go through the doors. Then there are 2 vending machines for selling loot to nakeds. There's a combat spawn with 2 beds, a small loot room and another pixel peek. You also have a bunker, protected for 25 rockets and holding 4 large boxes. Each tentacle costs 2000 metal and 23 HQM to maintain. That's the base I built for you. Now let's start building the base. First, I'll show you the foundation layout. If this starter layout looks big to you, don't worry, this base will fit even in the smallest building spots. The central section will be HQM, the rest will be sheet metal, and the outer buffer layer will be stone. At the very start, you can place a triangle with a TC wherever you plan to live. You can drop all the resources you gather along the way into that TC, just in case you don't have enough mats for a 1x1 right away. Now let me show you how this looks from a player's point of view. As you can see, furnace, box, bags, workbench, everything has its place. But right now we only have 2 doors to the TC. Let's add a third one and expand the furnace space. To do that, we create the same extension with a triangle and a double door above it. And if you manage to farm a lot of resources early on, then I recommend upgrading the base straight to the 3rd floor. This is only 5000 stone, by the way, you can farm that super quickly. I also wanted to thank you for your comments and likes. They really motivate me to create more content. Thank you. And I wanted to ask you, what kind of bases do you prefer? Big ones that cost 100 to 200,000 metal frags, or smaller builds like this one that only cost a single box of resources? Your opinion is very important to me. Right now we are building the most important part of the base, one of the smallest shells you can reasonably make in this game. Well, within common sense, of course. You're not going to build a shell out of a single triangle. Also, don't forget that I added manual shutters here. You can use regular doors or garage doors, and if you understand electricity, you can wire it so you can open everything yourself with Rust Plus. You enter the base by jumping over the furnaces and make sure to put window bars in the windows. And the moment you get turrets, place them. They will help you a lot during a raid. Once that's done, you need to raise the frames 2 floors up, just like I did. Next, you'll build the auto smelting area and the discounted storage boxes. Here you can actually place 3 of them. Where the overhanging ramp will be, place a square frame and then close everything with ceilings. Inside that square you'll have a combat spawn with 1 bed and 6 small boxes. The second ramp attaches to a twig ceiling. After placing the ramp, you can remove the twig and it will look exactly the same as in my build. Then just add the missing frames and ceilings. Your access to the 4th floor will be on the right side of the combat spawn and you can enter it by jumping through the triangle ceiling. On the 4th floor, make a simple default exit with a double door. If you manage to get through this part, then everything else will be easy. On the back side, I'll show you how to build this mini shell step by step. Place the window frames and the walls around them. Then build the entrance to the base and close everything off with ceilings. You also need to add the exit to the 4th floor. Now let's build the open core of the base. By the way, you can practice building this base on the Rust Room build servers. I always build there myself and I recommend it. You can build on rocks, in caves and many other places. Once you finish the open core, you'll be able to move the TC to the 4th floor. And for raiders, that will be completely unexpected. You'll also get a very well protected spot for a large battery. Now we add the missing frames, walls and ceilings. And next, we need to build the safe exits to the roof. By the way, once you finish the roof, there will be a hidden stash for 2 large boxes right outside the entrance window. We place the frames, and on the side with the exit you'll need to build a small shelf. You can put a barrel, a box or even a medium battery on it. In the windows you can install wooden shutters. On the back side we build the exact same staircase, just mirrored in the opposite direction. And actually, I wanted to ask you, how do you like bases with a shell? Now we need to add the buffer units around the base and build the pixel peaks on the entrance side. You'll have 2 pixel gaps from the shell windows and 2 4-story buffer units on the side of the base. Also, don't forget to create 2 walls leading to the core using the buffer zone made from a roof piece and 2 walls. Once the buffers are done, we move on to building building the roof and the shooting floor. To make roof access easy and to make the raid cost through the roof as high as possible, we're now building fast drops and a highly protected downward peak using a ramp and a window. You'll also get a spot for a wind turbine and a turret that will cover 100% of the roof. From the triangle frame, you need to place 2 square roof pieces. One side is done. Now we need to duplicate everything on the opposite side. This part should be straightforward. Once you finish the second side, you'll be able to close the hidden stash on the roof. Next, we start building another shooting angle for long and mid-range, as well as peaks directly under the base. Now pay attention, the roof won't place here unless you upgrade the inner frames to sheet metal. As you can see, once I upgraded them, everything placed perfectly. Along the edges we place window frames, and in the middle we need a ramp. On the windows, place the half floor and the turret platform. Then close everything with triangle roofs exactly the way I show it. After that we go to the opposite side and repeat the entire process again. Now let's set up the shutters, add the 2 walls leading to the core and make the pixel peak fully functional. On the high floor, place a turret and 2 frames for the shutters. Then we need to add another half floor and place 2 sheet metal roofs. I recommend installing garage doors right away. As you can see, the embrasures appear on the inside and just above them the pixel peak becomes fully operational. Now we need to duplicate this on the other 3 sides. You shouldn't have any issues with that, and by the way, congratulations, you've finished building the entire base. You can comfortably survive in this one. Now for the additional stage, building the tentacles. You need to extend 8 foundations outward from the base and place the 9th as a triangle. Delete everything unnecessary and return back using triangle foundations, exactly the way I'm doing it. When you come back, it's not as simple. You'll need to do a small foundation trick to make everything line up correctly. Next, we place a ramp so you don't fall through when entering the base. The entrance to each tentacle will be through a single door on both sides. And on the outer triangle foundations, you'll have that same peek through the shop front spot to check whether someone is camping you. You need to build this on both sides as well. And regarding the tentacles, you can build regular multi-TCs or freehand multis with bunkers if you want. It's all up to you, but personally I think the best option on the market is tentacles with an HQM cube, because no other multi-TC setup gives you a 25 rocket bunker, pixel peaks, combat spawns, and overall, if someone is raiding a base with tentacles, they'll only do it offline. Now let's continue. We already built the pixel peak on one side. Now we need to repeat the same thing on the other side. Place small half walls along the edge and 1 full wall. Then build a half floor for the loot room above and place window frames. Close the upper part with half walls and seal it with ceilings. Next, place 2 ramps facing each other. This allows you to adjust the peak angle. Between them, place a half wall. Even wood is fine. This stops players from shooting you from the side while you're lining up your shot. Then you need to extend the foundations just like I do. This is required, so you get both the 25 rocket bunker and the pixel peaks in one setup. Close the outer square with metal buffers and upgrade the inner wall to HQM. Place the TC the same way I do, holding shift. And a very important moment, don't forget to place a bag inside. If you forget, it will be very sad, because you'll either have to raid yourself or wait for the tentacle to decay. Build the pixel peaks on the sides following exactly the same logic as before. Pixel peaks are needed on both sides. Close the top with half walls and ceilings. Inside the window, place embrasures and 2 beds, or a bed and a locker. Seal the top with ceilings and finish the buffer zone. And by the way, if you supported me with a YouTube membership, this is where I would list all your nicknames. But since there are no sponsors yet, I'll just say thank you to everyone who watches and builds my bases. It really means a lot to me.